There's another view of the Alsternia scalaris, and just nearby, used as a street tree, is the Batinjang, the Melaleuca cajuputi. Melaleuca cajuputi. Now this tree is non-native from Australia actually, and is incredibly tolerant of many different situations. Right? And here it's being used as an urban street tree, which is a little bit odd. I always think it's a bit sort of scruffy thing to be a street tree, but one advantage to it is that it has a fairly upright growing canopy, so it doesn't sort of sprout out into the street. I mean, if we go and stand next to this bus stop, you see what I mean. You can see, right, the buses, you can see that the trees are planted, you know, about a metre, centred about a metre from the curb, and they're not sprouting out into the carriageway. You can see that bus just came by, you know, and there's no conflict between, or minor problem, you know, with the branches sticking out into the road. The buses themselves, of course, you know, whack into the tree. Any shoots that try to grow out into the road soon, you know, just get knocked off by, you know, repeatedly being buffeted by the buses. So anyway, the very distinctive bark, right? This kind of squidgy bark. I'm not exactly sure why it has this squidgy bark. I think it might be, you know, in its native situation in the Australian bush, you know, that papery bark may burn off, you know, in a bushfire very quickly, but not damage the actual inside of the tree. I mean, people pick at these things, you know, and then, but it doesn't seem to harm the tree at all. So Melaleuca cajuputi, and we'll run into this species in other situations as well. Let's just turn around. These were planted. These were planted in 2007, right, under the first Greening Master Plan in Central. So these are my babies as well. One of them got knocked out by a typhoon last year, so here we've got, and they've replaced it with the same species, Melaleuca cajuputi. So here's a brand new one that's been planted in this tree pit because the one that was there previously got blown over in a typhoon. And this is a sort of a light standard tree. It's about, the total height is about 2 to 2.5 meters. This is called a light standard. And standard trees are growing up to about 5 meters tall before they're brought in to be planted here. So it's a small, you know, it's quite small, but it seems to be settling in all right. It's a bit of new growth, and yeah, so Melaleuca cajuputi.